Welcome to the webinar.
Welcome, and thank you for joining us today for the EFA Remodel Renovation Competition, a SAGE webinar that brings together winners from the 2019 competition to explore their specific projects and how they approach their unique environments to create spectacular new settings. My name is Rick D'Amico, and I will be moderating this webinar session. I'm the Vice President of Development for the Bel Air Group, and I'm proud to serve the SAGE board. At this time, I'd like to invite my fellow panelists to introduce themselves, starting with Rob Fouth, and then let's introduce the silver, gold, and bronze winner.
Thanks, Rick. My name's Rob Fouth. I am the Director of Planning for Senior Living with Erdman in Madison, Wisconsin, and also a SAGE board member, I might add.
Hi, I'm Megan Coland, Design Director with Wegman Design Group, and we are located in Naples, Florida.
Hi, I'm Luann Hollick with Tomaholic Design. I'm the principal and founder, and we are located in Mesa, Arizona.
And hi, I am Craig Kimmel, partner with RLPS Architects. We are located in Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Thank you all. For those of you not familiar with SAGE, we are the Society for the Advancement of Gerontological Environments, and we are a membership-based organization representing all disciplines in the senior living industry. SAGE promotes collaboration among aging service providers, design professionals, regulators, residents, researchers, manufacturers, educators, students, and others interested in providing innovative and appropriate environments for older adults. SAGE is pleased to present AIA-approved webinars every month. These webinars are free to SAGE members. Please visit sagefederation.org for information on the SAGE membership. We think you'll agree it's worth the $95. This session was originally intended to be presented last week at the Environments for Aging Conference in Louisville, Kentucky. EFA is a wonderful conference, and we are sad it had to be canceled due to the COVID-19 crisis. If you never attended the conference, I strongly suggest you consider attending it in 2021. While the content, connections, and inspiration you'll enjoy at EFA are well worth the financial investment to travel to and attend the conference, SAGE members do enjoy a 10% savings off EFA conference registration, which more than pays for the cost of the SAGE membership. You will be muted throughout this webinar session, but you'll have the option to type in any questions by clicking on the Q&A button at the top of your screen. So if you'll scroll up to the top of the screen, you should see a drop-down menu for questions and answers. We will answer any questions at the conclusion of the session as time allows. Please keep your questions relevant to the topics that are being discussed. SAGE is an AIA-approved provider, and participants in this course are eligible for one AIA learning unit. Please note that you must be registered for and logged into the webinar to receive AIA credit for a certificate of completion. This slide is standard to AIA webinar documents, and we'll add that SAGE will report credits earned by course attendees to AIA CES and will provide certificates of completion within 1 week if requested. If you did not enter your member number or request a certificate of completion upon registration, please email info@sagefederation.org. The information presented in today's presentation is protected under copyright. Email addresses will also be available throughout the presentation slide deck. The course description: Environments for Aging Magazine's annual remodel renovation competition with support from SAGE sheds light on projects that have noteworthy aspects to inspire future renovation projects, big or small. And we're excited about today's winners, and we'll be reviewing those projects in just a few minutes. Let me first add that our learning objectives are here to learn more about renovation projects ranging in scope and size and cost for a variety of older adult settings. We will learn about design attributes, challenges, and solutions employed to create award-winning environments for aging, understand the importance of including operational factors in the design process, and how operators are positively impacting quality of life for residents family, and staff. Also, gain valuable insights into design award submission, review, and the award process. Some sections allow for a few moments of silence to absorb what is on the screen, and there's lots of information to cover this morning. Upon request, the PDF of this presentation will also be available on the conference website. SAGE is proud to partner with Emerald going back to 1997. There continues to be a strong collaborative effort between Emerald and our group to recognize award-winning remodel and renovation projects that enhance existing environments and that improve their market relevancy. SAGE is now in its 12th year partnering with Emerald in EFA with juror selection, the review and awarding of the bronze, silver, and gold winners, and presenting the projects and their teams at the annual EFA conference. You may find additional information about today's winners in the fall 2019 print edition of the EFA magazine, or follow the link to efamagazine.com at the bottom right of the screen. And with that, we're ready to start the 2019 review process, recognizing high standards of excellence. I will now turn the microphone over to Rob Fouth, who will briefly describe the 2019 review process and then introduce the award winners and their projects. Rob?
Rob, you're muted.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Rick. Some of you may have received the email from EFA last week announcing the call for submissions for the 12th annual remodel and renovation competition. And that's how the process starts each year, as providers and designers are invited to submit their best recent work for consideration. Last year, 33 projects were submitted for consideration. The submittal and review process is done entirely electronically. That means that all the jurying was conducted remotely, ironically anticipating the situation we find ourselves in today. The 17 jurors representing an interdisciplinary group of professionals were divided into 2 teams. Each team was initially tasked with reviewing and evaluating 16 or 17 submittals. The goal was to identify those projects that not only succeeded in meeting their clients' objectives, but to single out those that really raised the bar in some way or another. The results of the first round of judging were tabulated, and the top 8 contenders were identified and sent back to all the jurors. These were then ranked by the judges in order of excellence, and the top 3 emerging as the most noteworthy. And today we are honored to be joined by representatives of the 3 firms responsible for these outstanding projects. Next slide, please. Here for your information is the list of folks who served on last year's jury. I know the slide is hard to read, but take my word for it, it is a diverse and illustrious group, including providers, designers, consultants, and even an activity director and an occupational therapist. As I mentioned a minute ago, we have just begun this year's competition. So if you would like to participate in this year's judging, please reach out to our one and only SAGE Director of Operations, Lori Bridgman, and her email address is at the bottom of the slide and will also be at the end of the presentation. The next slide. As we get ready to accept submissions for the 12th annual remodel and renovation design competition, we hope to receive entries from some of the last remaining states that you can see here that have not yet been represented. But as you can see, almost every state in the union has at some point or another had a project been presented to our juries for review. And we're hoping to see something from the remaining states in the year or years to come. And by the way, the choice of color used on this map is in no way indicative of anyone's political leanings. And with that, we're delighted to present the first of the 3 preeminent projects from last year's remodel and renovation competition. Our first project is the renovation and expansion of the dining venue at the Patriots Colony continuing care retirement community in Williamsburg, Virginia, which was awarded the 2019 Bronze Award for Design Excellence. Here to tell us more about it is Craig Kimmel, one of the partners at RLPS Architects of Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Welcome, Craig.
Thanks, Rob. It's a pleasure to be here on behalf of RLPS, Riverside Health System, and Patriots Colony. We're thrilled to be a recipient of one of the renovation awards this year. Colonial Williamsburg is a unique location, tends to be a little bit traditional and formal in terms of its overall kind of positioning and kind of culture. The existing campus was built in the 1990s, pretty typical life plan community in that respect. One of the unique aspects of this project is it serves only fairly high-ranking retired military from the Williamsburg area. So as we started going through a master planning process with these folks to add independent living on their campus and went through a focus group process, it became pretty apparent that the dining venue that existed was kind of inadequate, not serving the needs of the residents, not really kind of appealing to the future residents either. So the problem was that the casual dining was very small, almost kind of existed in a found space. The restaurant was underutilized as a result because people were not motivated to really use the more formal dining space. The tavern, which was basically their bar, was packed before and after dinner, really undersized for the demand that the residents were needing it to provide. And then the multi-purpose room that was kind of adjacent to the dining space had a folding partition that opened into the lobby space, but that was really awkward for them because they really didn't want to undo the lobby. So they really wanted to be able to expand the multi-purpose room in a different direction in order to accommodate their growth without impacting that lobby space unless absolutely necessary. So those were kind of the challenges that were put forth as part of the project when we started kind of working on this. And so we'll go through the slides. Next slide, please. So this is a slide that shows the existing casual dining area. You can almost see it's a cafeteria style receipt of food along a line, no windows, hardly any seating at busy times. And this is obviously a picture at slow time, but during the busy times, this was just unimaginably packed because everybody wanted a more casual option for meals, and this was really the only thing that they had. Next slide, please. So really what we did is we moved the casual into the perimeter of the building, introducing much more of an a la carte ability for residents to come up and go to different action stations and get meals. There were also runners that allowed residents, if unable to stand and kind of help themselves, would basically bring that food to the resident at the table. But expanding that area kind of from the columns out towards the daylight was really kind of the first move in kind of reinventing the casual venue, without just making a space bigger, but dividing it into different areas with different seating types to really allow different size groups to congregate and enjoy a meal. Next slide. This is the tavern, or this was the tavern. This is the space that everybody used for pre-function. You can see there were all of 4 seats at the bar, very tiny, very closed off, and really did not function very well for Patriots Colony. This was one of the areas that the residents really focused on as being a problem for them, because they really, as those kind of ex-military folks, really enjoyed having that cocktail before dinner. this really didn't afford them that ability at all. Next slide, please. So one of the ways to kind of manage that kind of ebb and flow of people and really kind of open the bar experience up to the casual dining area was really just that, removing walls, getting daylight connection to the bar, and also allowing the casual area, one of the casual areas of the dining venue, to actually flex between bar seating and dining seating depending on the use and the time of day. We also have a happy bartender, which we didn't have before in the prior picture, but this gives us the ability to really kind of create some ceiling treatments, some lighting that makes it a little bit unique, and also kind of allows the flow of the space to really go from the lobby, which is behind the photographer here, out straight into that casual dining venue. Next slide, please. The outside, we kind of, when we walked around the outside of the building, we looked at it, it was like, this is really almost like defensive shrubbery. It's hiding the building, hiding views from the inside out, and really, you know, the ability to go outside as part of the dining experience was non-existent. Next slide, please. So the solution was really, as part of this expansion, to create meaningful outdoor environments for dining and just really for socializing. So that meant creating the gazebo element, which allows for small groups to kind of go out and use that, whether it's a dining event or playing cards in the springtime. Just off the screen to the left is a pond that was always there, but no one really kind of ever experienced it because it was never kind of part of this indoor-outdoor connection. And so being able to kind of expand this area to the outside, create meaningful amenities, really kind of allowed the residents to start enjoying the environment that really was already to a large extent existing on the campus. Next slide, please. So the floor plan, this is the existing plan. You can see in kind of the rectangle that's horizontal is just that really tiny bistro kind of casual dining area. The formal dining was really the round space at the end. I would highly suggest that you never do a round dining room just because the acoustics in that space were just horrendous. So we spent a lot of time and effort breaking down the scale of that space, as well as introducing a lot of acoustics to minimize reverberation from all of those walls that focus that sound right back into the center of that space. But we also removed a lot of walls. So the bar lounge is at the bottom. The foyer lobby space is in the center. Multi-purpose room is to the right of that. And really what we did is expanded that multi-purpose room into the bistro and created like a destination specialty dining space as a result of that. So can we go to the next slide, please? This shows the expansion as well as the changes that were made. So the tavern in green, you can see expanded kind of plan north. Formal dining really stayed as is, but the casual dining almost kind of envelops that now with the action stations that front onto the production kitchen in the lighter cream color behind. And then that private or destination dining is in the teal color. And that's really where we expanded multi-purpose room for large events so that they could fairly easily break that space down and put in additional seating to accommodate a large function in the assembly space. The area then outside the addition is that terrace space. So you can see some kind of 3 different defined spaces that kind of make up that terrace, really taking the same concept that we have for indoor dining and applying that to outdoor dining, trying to keep scale fairly intimate, create some areas of cover, create different experiences in different areas that really make the space animated and fun for the folks that utilize it. Next slide, please. So I think in conclusion, one of the things that really was successful about the project was taking that initial feedback from the residents, working really integratedly with the staff, especially the dining services folks and the administration, and as well as recognizing that, as with any project, there are some cost limitations that we all have to deal with in order to make a project successful. Kind of working that from the schematic design process all the way through to completion of the project, in order to make this happen with all of the dining venues on the campus being impacted. It ended up being an 8-phase construction project where we did new construction first. We did some work in the production kitchen. We then went kind of venue by venue and renovated spaces in order to allow the existing residents to still enjoy their dining experience while this construction was taking place. The overall construction duration ended up being about 18 months to get through this process on this project.
Great, thanks, Craig. I appreciate that. Wonderful presentation. This slide just bullets some of the jury comments that you can scan through. I will just summarize quickly. What really impressed the jury here was the way in which the project not only expands and enhances the dining options for residents, but especially the way in which the outdoor space is capitalized on to offer yet more choices. This was reflected in some of the jury comments, such as they also considered the exterior as part of the destination experience, and the bells and whistles were added to the interior and exterior. Jurors also applauded the way in which the overall space was broken up into a series of more intimate rooms of inviting scale, including the outdoor spaces. And finally, the jurors liked the way the exhibition kitchen helped make the dining area more energetic and engaging. Our congratulations go to the team at RLPS and their client at Patriots Colony. The 2019 Silver Award went to Tomahawk Design of Mesa, Arizona for their work at Grandview Terrace for Sun City West. This renovation also centers on a series of dining venues known collectively as the Marketplace. We're delighted to have with us today Luann Tomahawk, principal and founder of Tomahawk Design. Good to have you with us, Luann.
Thanks, Rob. I'm honored to be here, and I'm honored to represent Tomahawk Design, as well as the other team of consultants that worked on this community. Todd and Associates was the architect. They're based out of Phoenix, Arizona, and of course, Sun Health Communities, which is the owner and operator. Grandview Terrace is one of 3 Life Plan or CCRC campuses in the Phoenix area that are owned and operated by Sun Health Communities. This 6-story independent living building is located in Sun City West, which is on the west side of Phoenix. It's near the well-known Sun City active adult area that was built by Del Webb in the 60s. The approximately $18 million renovation was completed in phases, beginning at the top, the 6th floor, and moving down to the main common areas and dining functions. The design process began by working closely with the staff, the residents, and project team. Large town hall focus groups were held with residents to understand what was important to them. At one town hall meeting, we shared a vision, displayed the corridor carpet colors for all 6 floors to an audience of over 200 residents. Residents were kept informed throughout the process with renderings, sample boards, and images, and we continued to hold focus groups throughout the process so that we were certain that we were obtaining the information that they desired and that they fully understood what their new home was going to look like. Slide 2, please. Built in the late 1990s, the dated and inefficient dining venues consisted of 6 individual rooms with a disjointed theme decor. The clients and residents' desire was to change the formal dining attire and menu into a less formal experience, where residents wouldn't have to dress up to enjoy their main meal of the day. The venues were located off a corridor that felt like you were going into a back room. The small casual dining venue felt like a tired diner with food that was brought out from the kitchen and served on a steam table. So if you look to the left of this plan, and I apologize for this plan is a little bit difficult to read, the main entry to the independent building is on the center left. And if you go directly east of the plan, you can see the narrow access to the 6 dining venues. Slide 3, please. The decision was made to create 2 large dining spaces, still utilizing the 1 kitchen. One goal was to make sure that there were intimate seating areas and that the space did not feel like a large open cafeteria or a dining hall. Another goal was to create an inviting venue with an exciting but casual menu where food was prepared fresh and in full view of the diners. The third goal was to lighten and brighten the interiors in addition to offering outdoor dining areas. So the north side of the plan is the casual dining, the marketplace, which is what we won the silver award. The south end of the plan is the more formal dining area. And I'll show you a few photos of this area at the end of the presentation, even though it's not part of the marketplace. We did remove and relocate public restrooms. We did enlarge the kitchen area slightly, and we did add the outdoor dining areas to this. Slide 4, please. The original space was dark, worn, and limited the culinary team on how they served and what menu choices that they could offer. All food was prepared in the kitchen, and it was brought out and kept in warmers. Residents would come through the line, place their order, then they would sit and wait for delivery to their table, or if they were able to, they carried their own food to their seating areas. 5, please. A brick oven became one of the showpieces of the preparation area. With all new kitchen equipment, state-of-the-art technology, the renovation allowed the culinary team to create new and innovative menus. Using the brick oven, the chef created fresh entrees, desserts, and appetizers for the guests. And the biggest hit was, of course, the made-to-order pizza, the made-to-order bruschetta, French onion soup, shepherd's pie, and more. We replaced most of the old kitchen equipment with innovative pieces, such as a chiller that holds fresh salad greens chilled at the perfect temperature. So salads are now made to order as well. Hot inserts within the counter made for more pleasing presentations and kept the food at temperature longer. We included electronic menu boards, point of service systems, and the resident dining cards allowed the staff to process transactions more quickly and more efficiently than before. Changes to the menu can be made quickly, which allows the culinary team to be flexible with options and easily add or subtract items for the residents as they're going through the line. Finishes are modern, light, bright. We varied the textures for interest. And as with any renovation, we were limited with ceiling heights. So we eliminated the ACT in some areas and added a wood grid system. We added simple decorative fixtures with a mixture of recessed cans. The design has helped create a space that's casual but beautiful. It goes from breakfast to lunch to dinner with wholesome, healthy, fresh foods that can be prepared fast. Slide 6, please. Again, this was a late 1990s design, heavy draperies, patterned carpet, and a dated color palette. Slide 7. The new design offers choices for the residents, not only with the menu, but also with their seating. We added partitions that still offered visibility and allowed light transmission. We added booths, banquettes, and multiple types and styles of chairs. We have 2-top tables for singles or couples. We have a mixture of 4 tops and also large gathering tables for group seating. The decor is modern with colors that took advantage of light from the windows. And another goal, of course, was to incorporate the outside in our dining experience by utilizing folding glass doors that open onto the outdoor patios, which you really can't see in this particular slide, but they're to the far north of this slide, to the beyond the partitions. Slide 8, please. The original building had 2 private dining rooms. We retained one of the private dining rooms. And here is shown another angle of the dining, showing the partitions. One thing that we believe in as a firm is I personally hate sitting in the middle of a dining room, and every table in this space is grounded. It's not floating. In other words, it's grounded near a side wall, a partition, a booth, a window wall, etc. So there are no floating tables. So you never feel like you're sitting in the middle of the space. And it offers privacy to the residents, and also it helps with the acoustics of the space. Slide 9, please. So this just offers a glimpse into the formal dining areas. And again, this was not part of the marketplace, but it shows how we transition to the formal from the more casual. Slide 10, please. So when we asked our client after the process and after the design was complete, how the space was working out, we received this reply. The improved space positively contributed to the morale and job performance, resulting in a significant increase in the number of meals served. The space has been an overwhelming success. The venue is now used all day by residents, by staff, guests, and even people from the adjacent Banner Hospital. The marketplace staff are so proud of their work, and their skills are being enhanced as they learn new culinary skills. Thank you.
Thank you, Luann. Here again are sampling of the jury comments for this excellent project. More than one of the jurors commented on the remarkable transformation that the design team brought about here, and that it was hard to believe that the before and after images were truly of the same community. They especially liked the brick oven as a focal element in the new casual dining area, and the unique ceiling treatment using the large suspended wood lattice in selected areas. My guess is that also contributes significantly to the acoustical as well as aesthetic appeal of the space. One juror also commented on the lighting, which manages to provide a relatively high level of ambient illumination, but without creating glare. It's really hard to overstate the importance of lighting in creating a successful dining space, especially one that creates the desired ambiance while also accommodating the visual needs of aging eyes. Finally, I should point out to all of you future competitors in our audience, the one comment there that's bolded about answering all the questions contained in the submittal form. A picture may be worth 1,000 words, but we cannot read your mind when it comes to design intent. So once again, congratulations, Luann.
Thank you.
Finally, we come to our Gold Award winner for 2019. This exciting renovation project is of, you guessed it, yet another dining venue. I can only conclude that the jury must have been really hungry when they were judging these entries last year. But seriously, this radical makeover of the Crystal Restaurant, one of a number of dining options at the vast Shell Point retirement community in Fort Myers, Florida. Our presenter today is Megan Coland, Design Director for the Wegman Design Group of Naples, Florida. So tell us, Megan, what became of the Crystal Chandelier?
Thank you. Yes, the Crystal Chandelier is safe and sound at Shell Point still. However, it is no longer in the space. So I want to thank you again on behalf of the entire team at Shell Point and our design team partners. The architect on this project was RG Architects out of Fort Myers, Florida. And we're very honored to receive this award, and thank you also to my fellow panelists. I think all of the winners really shows the importance of the dining experience at senior living facilities today. So the Crystal Dining Room has served as the community's main dining venue since opening in 1969. It had a rich history in the community and was a favorite among many residents. Our goal was to develop a fresh new take on this popular restaurant with rich, engaging dining experience and providing a variety of fresh food stations and menu options. We also wanted to showcase the beautiful waterfront setting and casual Florida lifestyle that brings residents to Shell Point. Some of the challenges with the project included expanding the kitchen while maintaining approximately 250 seats, and also rebranding the space by shortening the name to simply The Crystal and changing the focus from a chandelier to the sparkling reflection of the waterfront views. Next slide, please. Named originally for this oversized crystal chandelier that hung in the middle of the dining room, it was a traditional open buffet style venue. The kitchen was hid behind the back wall. The decor was dated and it lacked variety and interest. There was no sense of experience that residents today expect in the dining venue. Next slide, please. The owner wanted to elevate the menu to give residents a variety of freshly prepared foods and the experience of chef engagement. They wanted a space that could support a variety of food-themed events throughout the week that would transition easily from lunch to dinner and still support the popular community staples like Sunday brunch and holiday dinners. And most importantly, we all wanted to create a space where residents would be proud to bring their family and friends. We were able to encapsulate We were able to encapsulate 4 of the large columns in the space and create this beautiful 3-sided exhibition kitchen at the center of the back wall. It featured a top-of-the-line wood-fired oven, 2 saute stations, 6 induction tops, and a carving station, which all allowed the chef to create a variety of food themes. There were also 2 chilled stone counters to display freshly prepared salads and desserts in an elevated design. Some of the feedback we received from Shell Point's management team was that going to this style of a display makes the residents and guests feel as though they're receiving a better quality and product. We really had a lot of fun with bringing in a lot of rich texture with a dimensional porcelain tile at the face of the display kitchen, which was highlighted with recessed lighting and some different mosaic tiles, again, bringing in the feeling and sparkle of those waterfront views outside. Next slide, please. The original dining room was a wide open space. It didn't have a lot of segmentation or variety of seating areas and had a bit of a lackluster experience. There were also large service stations which sat in the center of the dining spaces. These created a lot of noise and distraction as well as blocked the views out the windows. A basic acoustical tile ceiling with recessed can lights and a small scattering of decorative lighting did little to add to the aesthetics or experience. Next slide. So we first wanted to relocate those service stations. We were able to put them back behind the back wall and behind the exhibition kitchen, which was also very convenient for staff. We added some screening devices that mimic the water and help segment the dining spaces. along with floor patterning and ceiling designs. The acoustical wood plank ceiling and decorative lighting really help to enhance the aesthetics here. And along the back wall, we commissioned some black and white photography before the crystal chandelier was taken down. And we displayed this in a very artistic way, which gave a nod to the former dining theme. Next slide, please. The former entry, you walk right into a large hostess stand right in the middle, which was backed by a planter wall and some bulky storage cabinets. And it really just blocked the whole view into the dining space. Also, the decor was dated and needed some refresh. Next slide, please. We really wanted to open up the entry and give views into the new dining space. On the floor, we used a boardwalk-inspired wood-look porcelain tile, which is durable and adds to the casual waterfront design. We updated the lighting and again brought in the acoustical wood plank ceiling. The host station was scaled down and moved over to the side. This was also a really good opportunity for us to showcase the new logo, which was key in rebranding the space. The residents here really did not want to change the name, so we shortened it to simply the Crystal and focused on the sparkle of the nearby water. And Shell Point's marketing team used some nice motifs there in the logo, which we wanted to add to the host station. On the left, you see the addition of booth seating with the tropical-inspired whitewood screens, which help break up the dining spaces and give a variety of seating choices to residents. Again, some of the feedback from the operations staff was the addition of the booth and banquette seating was a success from day one. Residents who want more intimate and private experience or are dining alone rave about the addition of this new seating option. Next slide, please. So on the top left, this is the relocated private dining. But what you don't see in this picture is a large built-in buffet for food and beverage service off to the right. We also added a digital display, which gives flexibility to the space and the opportunity to have slideshows for family celebrations and resident groups. This was also now adjacent to the dining instead of inside, so that gives some added flexibility for staff and other community groups to be able to utilize this space. On the top right, you see how we used a large aerial map over some of the banquette seats, which again highlights this amazing coastal location that this campus is well known for. The bottom left shows the addition of the covered dining patio, which was complete with lighting and ceiling fans and gives yet another dining experience and further takes advantage of the waterfront views. The landscape architect helped also in making this space a wonderful addition to the Crystal. Next slide, please. So this is the new plan. Again, the only space that was really added during this project was the outdoor dining. But early in the design, one of our goals was to create a variety of experiences within the one venue. So at the top, notated with a 1, is the area we called the sunroom. It was surrounded by windows with a view to the waterfront and a beautiful courtyard. Just below that, shown as number 2, is the casual seating area, which was directly adjacent to the salad bar and the action of the exhibition kitchen. In number 3, you see the booth seating, which runs from the entry all the way back to the exhibition kitchen. It has a planter at the spine and offers more privacy in an intimate setting. It also helps break up the large space and gives more separation. And then notated with a number 4, this area was a little bit more of a formal dining experience and offers a great place for visitors who want to enjoy al fresco dining or have family and friends in larger groups. And then finally, number 5 is the outdoor dining, which overlooks the base of the Caloosahatchee River, and really down here in South Florida can be used almost year-round. Our design details included the use of ceiling materials, floor patterning, and screening devices to break up the spaces. We used 3 different types of decorative lighting to reinforce each experience and add to the ambiance. Ceiling soffits were accented with cove lighting to add energy and help define the spaces. And while the space was more segmented, it now opens up more to the outside with better views and more natural light, again, bringing that indoor-outdoor experience for the residents. The different divisions also allow staff to use the space in flexible ways as capacity requires. Down here we have a lot of seasonal flow at some of our senior living facilities, so in parts of the season when capacity might be lower, they're able to really segment this. Another comment by the Shell Point operations staff that I found very interesting was offering creative divides in the restaurant has allowed our staff to use spaces in unique ways and host semi-private experiences for our residents and guests. By doing this, we have now created additional revenue streams for our operation. And in conclusion, I think the before and after photos really show the true transformation of the space. We are really grateful to Shell Point for allowing us to be part of this exciting project. They did a really good job assembling a team early in the design process, bringing on board the architect, the food service consultants, the landscape architects, all of who were instrumental in the success of this project. They also brought the appropriate executives, management, operations, chef, and food service staff to the table, which offered unique perspectives to inform the design. And they're also very knowledgeable and have a good rapport with residents. So all of that really helped to contribute to the success of the project. Thank you.
Thank you, Megan. What a gorgeous project. If I were down there, I'd be on that outdoor dining terrace every night. Clearly, the sentiment regarding how successful this project is was shared by the jurors, who described the design using superlatives like amazing, exceptional, and stunning. There was also consensus among the judges that what really distinguished this project was the fact that the reimagined space feels like a trendy new restaurant, someplace we'd all like to go enjoy a meal, rather than the dining room at a retirement community. And quite honestly, this is true of all the projects we've seen today. And it really signals a sea change in how consumer expectations are informing the design, not only of dining venues, but of senior living communities in general. The skillful use of materials, the manipulation of scale and proportion, and the attention to detail are all really outstanding, all while not losing sight of the unique needs of the end user of this space. And that is the elders, of course. Our congratulations to the team at Wegman Design for this elegant transformation. Next slide. So that brings us to the conclusion of our presentation of the 2019 Remodel Renovation Competition winners. With that, we look forward eagerly to this year's project submissions. The 2020 call for entries is officially out, so if your organization has recently completed a renovation, repositioning, or expansion project that you're especially proud of, then now is the time to begin assembling your submission. For more details, I would encourage you to visit EFA's competition website at efamagazine.com/events/remodel-renovation. There you will be able to find all the details regarding submission requirements and evaluation criteria. Keep in mind that the intent of this competition is to focus on individual spaces, such as dining venues, as we saw this afternoon, common amenity spaces, such as activity areas, lobbies, or other resident-oriented spaces. You must reserve your space no later than May 8th, just 3 days from now. So you best get cracking. After that, you have another 3 weeks to assemble the actual submission package. Next slide. The key to a compelling submission is to tell an engaging story. What drove the need to undertake the project? And what inspired the team to come up with the design solution? We want to hear about the impact of the project on the residents, the staff, family members, and visitors. As you have seen from our winners today, photography is important, especially if you can capture the space from the same vantage point, both before and after the transformation. Equally important are legible floor plans, with key features clearly noted. Here again, if an existing plan helps tell the story, include that as well. And please do take the time to answer the questions about your project. And with that, I'll turn it back to Rick.
Again, congratulations to all of our winners. The presentations were outstanding, and we hope everyone learned quite a bit about each of those projects, and we hope it may have inspired other teams to submit for 2020 and an award recognition next year. This concludes the American Institute of Architects Continuing Education Systems course. Throughout the presentation, there were several questions that I will read here shortly, but on your screen, you will see contact information for each of the award winners today. You can reach out to them with technical questions and other general questions. Starting now with some of the questions that were asked during the presentation. This question is for Luann regarding the marketplace. How did your team mitigate the sound of the fan in the hood over the cooking range? And while this question is directed for one award winner, if the others would like to answer the question too, the question is about how to mitigate sound caused by devices like a large fan hood in the cooking range. Luann?
I know that that can be a challenge. We have experienced that in other communities. This particular community had a great construction team, an excellent architect, and also an incredible food service design team. So we did retain a lot of the acoustical ceiling in that area. And we really didn't have a challenge with the hood. Everything was state of the art in terms of the technology that we used. So the hood really wasn't as noisy as some others that I have experienced. And I'm sorry, I don't recall the exact brand that was utilized, but we also found that residents really enjoyed being able to see the preparation of the food, and they really became involved with the culinary team on making the fresh selections that they wanted. And so it really didn't hinder the use of the space whatsoever. We did retain a lot of the acoustics within the other areas where the residents were seated as well. So we really didn't see that as a challenge at the end of the project.
Thank you, Luann.
Yeah, this is Craig. I think one of the things that we always look for in an exhaust fan, especially in a display cooking area like this, is multiple speed fan, something that automatically will ramp up as the demand increases. So when the demand is low, the fan speed is lower. We also look for at least 2 bends in the ductwork above the hood before you actually get to the fan. This allows the sound associated with the fan to be mitigated through those elbows. And then finally, as was mentioned, try and provide as much general acoustics in the food service area as possible in order to minimize the hard surfaces that so often come with food service venue areas, so that you can really absorb as much sound as possible, because it is super sensitive for seniors who are easily annoyed by those kind of distracting noises in the background.
Thank you. I have another question. With regard to senior living design, we need to take into account ambulation assistive devices. Megan, I'll start with you. How do the designers accommodate these types of ambulation devices in the dining venue?
Sure. I think in the Crystal, one of the things that we really had to account for was with residents being able to come up to the front line and pick up their plates themselves. We wanted to allow enough counter space where they were able to set their plates down and slide it along as they got the food. Also, we did, of course, casters on chairs, which allows them for the ease of getting up and down, and enough space around the tables for them to be able to easily get their walkers around, and always helpful a separate area if they're able to park their devices while they're having dinner is definitely recommended.
Thank you. I have one more question, and this is for the group. And Luann, I'll just start with you and hope the other two have a chance to answer this. How many of these dining venues and these amenity centers were outward facing to the general public? It's clear the operators have specific program criteria for how to serve their residents, but do any of your communities have outsider coming to the campus? Maybe start with you, Luann.
Yes, as mentioned during the presentation, this community is adjacent to a hospital, Banner Health System, and the health staff has come over to this community for dining. Also, because this is the independent building on the campus, there's also assisted living, memory care, and some of those families and staff members will come over to this area as well. It's a fast dining opportunity in the marketplace because it's all freshly prepared, and as I mentioned, the staff, the culinary team can make something on order and can deliver it quickly. So it's become very popular in that aspect.
Thank you. Craig?
Yeah, I think the key to outside involvement in a dining venue is really exposure. You know, so if you have a dining venue that's close to a public street that has that exposure, that can really kind of draw people in without really forcing them to go completely into the internal areas of a campus or community, those tend to be more successful and allow for that connection to the greater community a lot more easily. It becomes very difficult when you're trying to draw general community into a dining venue that's much more internalized. The other thing I would mention is you have to really be careful about zoning and your parking requirements associated with your dining if it all of a sudden becomes a dining venue that is public, because that all of a sudden can trigger some significantly different requirements as it relates to your overall site plan.
Thank you. And Megan, if you could briefly answer the same question as we near the end of our presentation today.
Sure. The Crystal is open to the public. However, it is all the way on the island in the Shell Point community. So most of the public visitors would be family and friends of residents as well as staff.
Thank you so much. Well, we want to say again, thank you to all the award winners. We look forward to submittals for the 2020 acknowledgement and recognition of projects. We will be emailing a link to the webinar recording as well as offering a PDF of today's presentation to all registrants. If you are not registered for the webinar and are watching the recording, please email info@sagefederation.org for copies of the recording or a PDF. Thank you again to all of our attendees. And we look forward to doing this again next year, and hopefully we'll see each other at Environments for Aging 2021. Thank you. Oh, and please complete the survey.